morning, everyone, and welcome to podcast 144 of the Wealthy LaLa Show with myself, Laurie Laursen. So, what's up today, people? Oh, I am so today could be Thankful Thursday, and I woke up this morning feeling so incredibly gratitude, grateful. I woke up so grateful. um, for the connection that I have with myself now. Now, I still weeble and wobble a little bit with regards to, what's actually true for me. And I get that that's kind of like just an ongoing adventure anyways. Like there's some things we're just always going to know just so well, and other things we're going to still need to, call a friend, ask a few more questions, wonder about, and then sometimes just leap and find out, after what the whether it created more or not to choose something. And I get that that's not wrong. It's just that's also another part of the process, that we're not meant to know everything clearly. So, I've been talking this week about how I've had this jaw pain, and I kind of wanted to almost title today, what's true for you. Now I don't know what word did you put? Amidst all the choices. I'm gonna have to Google what word that is. But you've got all these choices, so how do you know what's true for you? So it was really interesting. Yesterday the pain was just always at about a 5, and I was kind of getting to that point. Like on the weekend, this past weekend, I actually went and had a couple of shots of morphine for it at the hospital. And I was getting the awareness that that would actually be something that I would need again. And, I could give you a lot of background, but blah, blah, blah kind of thing. My family doctor that I was using in the town where the hospital I went to has since moved to a whole new town. So I'm not sure if he has privileges at that hospital anymore. Not really sure if I want to see him anymore as a physician, but yet I'm tied to him in certain ways. So it's kind of like, how do I deal with this? Anyways, I think it was about 6 o'clock last night. I got the sense, I think it would really be good, Laurie, if you actually just went to the hospital again and asked if you could get another shot. Because, I know my body. And, the night before I'd had like a 2-hour sleep, and then up for 2 hours, sleep for 2, up for 2, and the pain was just, was what was waking me up. I'd like to blame it on my husband snoring sometimes, but in this case I couldn't. So he's off the hook this time. Apparently he says I snore sometimes. Like, what? I'm like, oh, just too funny. Oh, anyways, oh well. What do you do? We could be two loving, snoring people sleeping together. So anyways, like, what's true for you amongst, that's the word I wanted, amongst all the different choices. So that's what I felt like last night, is like I had all these choices. What would be the right choice? And when I kind of gave some space to it, and I talked about that earlier this week, like, you guys, and if you're struggling with something, like whatever it is, you have to let yourself have some space in order to hear the awareness of what's going to create greater or change it. Okay. And I talked about it on one of the other shows, kind of like, for me, I made a list of things, what did I do? Because with struggling with this jaw pain, and so creating it to not be a struggle, what kind of things have I done? I phoned friends, text friends, asked them questions, meditation. I've allowed myself to choose to see a doctor, get a shot of morphine. Like, that may not be the answer for everything, people. I am not a doctor. I am not telling you. Isn't that kind of sad that, you got to almost like apologize, and what do you call it? What do you call those things? Like, I got to put a caveat or something on everything I say, so that people don't take it wrong or think I'm talking about my life. Okay. I'm not telling everybody to do something or not do something. Accept, create, relief. You find it the way you find it, okay? Some ways is visualizing the future you want, but sometimes that's not always easy when you're in the midst of pain or real sadness, grief, or something, or anger to just go, oh, let me just stop and think about what I want. Like you kind of got to create the relief, so you create the space so that you can actually get there. Um, Stay and be in question as much as possible. What's right about this, even if it feels really sucky? I love EFT, emotional freedom technique, the tapping. Google it, people. It's awesome. You just tap on your face on the ends of acupressure meridian points, and it will help. It it creates relaxation in the amygdala, which creates less stress in the body. So try that. Watch YouTube videos, funny ones, inspirational ones, whatever you want. Or sometimes my favorite is take a nap. So, um, yeah. So, anyways, last night the pain was up again, and I did reach out to someone and just gave two choices. One in my head I knew was to go to the hospital. The other one was to stay home. It was still not certain. Like it was kind of like, is there another choice? And I thought, well, maybe it's too early to ask the question. I guess it's heavy. I don't need to go. Anyways, my husband was home at the time. He left around 7 o'clock to go curling for the evening. And then as soon as he left, it was so funny. I got this awareness, go to the hospital now. And I was like, okay, I'll go to the hospital now. So jumped in the car, went to the hospital, saw the doctor, talked to them, found out, and I'm not sure if I mentioned this part, but there's actually an infection in my jaw too. So the pain has been tied to this trigeminal neuralgia, which is like a face nerve pain. And then it's like I got an infection in my jaw at the same time. Because one of the medications I am on is an immunosuppressant. So obviously, and I got a cold out of the deal too. So obviously this time the medication really did its job. It immunosuppressed. So I will be looking into whether I'm going to continue taking that or not. We got to just see, that's what's so great about different choices. Try different medications. Maybe my body doesn't want this medication anymore. I get it doesn't, but I'll be seeing my doctor in about a month or so. She's gone on holidays. So anyways, saw the doctor, talked about a different option, couple different options. And then I did get another shot of morphine. And, I'm so grateful because like I woke up this morning and I still do have the pain. It's probably 3, 4 out of 10. Um, but I actually went to bed last night at 10:30, woke up at 6:30 for a minute, thought, oh, I'll just stay laying here. The next thing you know, it's 20 to 9. So it's amazing how tiring pain is. It's pretty crazy. And it was interesting too, because my blood pressure when I would go to the hospital was like 165 over 95, and then I think it was 145 over uh 80 or 85 or something, and I think last night it was like 139 over 80 something. So all of which would be borderline or high if I was feeling normal, but with having pain, it was kind of interesting just to see how your body gives reads on how pain can impact it. So, and finding out what was true for me amidst of all these choices, or amongst all these choices, I'm gonna have to Google that. See which word feels better, which one creates greater. We'll see. I seem to want to say the one amidst, so I might just choose that. So, but what I noticed, so anyways, what was really funny is that they went to give me the shot of morphine, and they're like, "Do you have someone to drive you home?" Well, no. When I came the first time, I had my husband with me. The second time, I just went by myself, and the nurse that was on said, okay, I'll give you the shot. You just quickly go home. So last night, so that's why I went there by myself, because I thought if I got the shot, I'd just drive home. Well, they wouldn't let me drive home. The doctor's like, no way. It was snowing and it was kind of blowing on the highway. And that doctor, he's someone I've known for a long time or whatever. And, there are regulations and whatever. Said, no, we're not going to let you drive home. So I had to have my daughter and son-in-law come get me. and then drive me home. So one of them drove, my daughter drove me in my vehicle, and then my son-in-law followed, and then they brought me home, which was really sweet. It was so nice to be taken care of by then. I just got to say, as a side note, like, we look at these things, and I'm not going to say that I didn't feel silly asking them to come get me, because I did. And there was no, like, honestly, there was not a way, unless I did a lot of digging to try and get a hold of my husband, because the curling rink he's in doesn't have a phone number anymore. The buddy that he tries with, believe it or not, does not have a cell phone. And if he does, I don't know the number. Um, so there was no way to get a hold of my hubby to come get me. It was really funny. Um, so my daughter and son-in-law came and got me and brought me home. And you know, how do you know if things like this in life aren't created, how do you get to have other people support you? And what contribution was that to them? And how much was that another place in my life that I could allow myself to receive? We really want to try and live our lives, sometimes controlling it and living all by ourselves, like trying to do everything all by ourselves as though that is more right. What's really ironic about that? Like, if you look on, say, Facebook or something like that, people will be like, oh my God, you do everything for others. You know, like, that is so valuable when you give up your life to look after other people. But what about yourself? You got to take care of you. And one of the things that I've really discovered is that when you don't take care of you, because I was one of those people that used to do most everything for everyone else. I had 3 part-time jobs. I was a mom. I helped my hubby farm. Like, I literally used to drive the combine sometimes. I used to do the cooking. I do the paperwork for the farming, for his business, for my business, for the home. Um, I was volunteering on community things. I had 3 kids. You know, um, yeah, it was an illness waiting to happen. and and I don't say that we can choose those things, but if you're choosing it from awareness, it's actually creating more. It's actually creating energy in your life. It's giving you life while you do it. Then that's great. Keep doing what you're doing. But if you start to find that things are draining you, which when I look back now, before I got sick for about 3 years, I was feeling drained and didn't know why. My body was just saying, hun, you can do a lot of stuff, but you've crossed the limit. You need to start taking care of you. And now I really get it. I kind of learned the hard way, and I learned, and it's the way I learned, and I'm here and I'm where I'm at now. And I realized, like, judging our choices just doesn't help. Hey, 2 seconds. There's a quote that's just on my board here I want to grab. Just 1 second. Okay, I'm back. All right, I actually found 2 quotes. So the one that I wanted to say that I cut out, I've had it on my board for quite a long time. The more you judge any choices you made in your past, the more you deplete and weaken your potency of choice to create something different in your future. So the more you judge any choices you made in your past, the more you deplete and weaken your potency of choice to create something different in your future. If that's one thing I could share over and over and over again to you guys, I would so want you to get. Please don't judge yourself. There's a lot I could judge myself for, with my body, with what I've chose, how I've chosen relationships, how I've bumbled my way through, setting up my own business. Just there's so many things that I could judge myself for. And I'm so grateful for the heavy and light, because when I start to judge myself, I feel the heaviness and I stop now. Whereas before, I didn't know. That judgment, it actually destroys your life, people. It really, really does. And Just another quote that was on there, and then I'm going to sign off for the day, is being committed to you and your life and to your awareness and to your reality is the most powerful source of creation on the planet. We become a part of where infinite possibilities is a reality. So people, please know that you're valuable. You're not, it's worth it not to judge you. Ask what's right about you, find the beauty in you. And yeah, just please don't judge you. Just even if it's once or twice today, just I invite you to just less and less, you know. All right. You guys have an amazing day. And thanks again for listening. I'm really grateful for you. Big hugs.